Okay, it should be recording now. Hi, I am Meredith McCarthy. I'm the chair of the Missouri Evergreen Circulation Committee, and this is our November meeting to go ahead and get started with. Hopefully you guys can all see the screen there. Did anyone have any comments they wanted to bring forward that weren't on the agenda? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and go forward. If something does cross your mind later, don't hesitate to chime in. We do have an opening for a committee member. I was contacted by Molly out of Marshall that she left her position there. So we will have an opening. So if anyone that is on the call is interested in serving as an actual voting committee member, can go ahead and reach out to me. And then if you know anyone else in the circle that might be a good fit, let me know. We do have to balance geography and size of libraries a little bit for who we do end up selecting. And I can get with you, Diane, off the list too, since you've had experience with how we do that structure, if that works. I did get an email from one of our member libraries to possibly discuss the best practices on discs. I know that we don't get into the weeds on how individual libraries handle their individual items, but this particular situation was DVDs that had Avery mailing address labels on them for their property stickers that peel off pretty easily inside people's players and things like that. So did want to put that out there as something to be mindful of. In our best practices, we basically materials handling deal with things going to and fro between the libraries and the packaging and that kind of stuff. So I was thinking it probably wasn't our role to get into the weeds on that, but just to bring it to people's attentions. Does that make sense, Diane, based on the practice from before?
Yes, and you probably know what library it is, so you could address them individually.
Okay,
See if there's another option.
Okay, I just wasn't sure if I was toe stepping there if I did that for their internal stuff. But it does impact the rest of us if it does go out to fulfill holds and things and then damages players for other people.
Yes, okay. And we have so many libraries joining every year that all this is new to them. And if their patrons are just used to checking out their library and returning at their library, it doesn't have to go anywhere for a long time, then maybe that brings new problems.
Okay, I can reach out to that library and get them the message as well, and then it'll be in the minutes here that we talked about it, so that'll cross the agenda for it. I did also get a message from one of our members about a database update failed error that was showing up when you place holds without the mobile carrier selected. It wasn't a very clarifying error. Unfortunately, a lot of evergreen errors are not that tell you what the problem is. It did get fixed in the November 17th maintenance, so yay. If you do place a hold with text notification, it will require you to select the carrier now.
So the message doesn't say that data update failed. It says something else.
You shouldn't get it at all now anymore because you can't leave that field blank.
Oh.
When you place a hold with text notification, it will require you to select the carrier.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. Great.
Yeah, problem solved. Yeah. And then you had noticed on the email list as well too about the hold protection fields being renamed as well.
Yes, it's not binary anymore. 1, 2. Oh, I guess it was 1, 0. Now it used to be 1, 2.
Yeah, and the other thing I did see on the list that might be of interest to people too is when you do place a hold for a patron, the list of the mobile carriers is in alphabetical order. Imagine that. As opposed to whatever random evergreen order it was before.
Yeah, and they explained that some of that random alphabetizing once that it's like by subject. So the columns, if you're trying to add a column for something, it goes A to Z and then it starts over A to Z and it starts over A to Z because what's in the A to Z is supposed to be all associated with something else. But it'd be nice if they put the subheadings then so you could see what they're, because it all looks very random to me.
And then the other thing I did notice in there that plays into the permission enhancements discussion we've had in the past, it did say in the enhancements that Evergreen now prevents staff users from logging into the staff client using an inactive barcode. so that may act as an additional security function for staff that leave the library as well.
Yes, that's good because those accounts never expired for some
Right.
reason. So that's good. Then those of us who are creating staff accounts, I have to try to remember to push it out to 2025 or something, which I don't always remember.
Yeah, so that was the highlights I saw on the November 17th maintenance, but there was a lot of other stuff too. So I encourage everybody to kind of look at that documentation, and I'll send it out with the minutes as well, so people can take a look at that. And coming on, Reynolds County is coming on in January, so just keep that on your radar. The damaged items working group, I did a bunch of research pulling documentation from other libraries and consortiums for the language and stuff that they used. We're going to set up a meeting for early December to kind of go over that and pull some language out of there to pursue for the draft for the consortium. So that's moving forward, and Rhonda, I'll loop you back in on where we're going on with that.
Did you find any libraries outside of the consortium that have pictures?
So weirdly enough, there is a whole exhibit of the University of Delaware Library that shows with pictures. And some of them are very extreme ones that I wouldn't necessarily go with, but yeah, most of it is covered in language as well, of like, this is wear and tear and this is past wear and tear, and just doing it in language. So when we have those discussions, we kind of explore if the language would be enough or if the picture element is needed as well too.
I think the subcommittee should ask Missouri Evergreen to pay for a field trip to go to Delaware and view that.
Yeah, they've got the online exhibit. It was pretty funny to see for what they consider normal wear and tear. And I'm like, oh, that book looks like it got ran over by a truck.
So you can actually look at it online?
Yeah, I can send the link out with the minutes.
Oh, that would be so fun. Aren't we geeks that this is really sounds fun.
Yeah, it was the only one I could find with pictures. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
I write myself a note to do that because I'll forget in a minute. Send Delaware. Okay, and then on the staff permissions front, that's still just a work in progress, right, Diane?
Oh, yeah, that's a work in progress. That's a lovely way to say that. Thank you.
Exactly. This time of year, everything's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Okay, and if anybody had anything further they want to, oh, I did blow past the other thing that I added. We did have the email go out on the listservs just to put it on the record. For Webster County is still having issues with their courier labels, and to be mindful of making sure that you're not using the old labels on the courier boxes. And those of you who actually pack courier could probably talk more about the impact of that and how to be best with that than I can. I don't do that part of it.
Did Reynolds County get automated? Is that just going to be an ongoing project?
My understanding of the Reynolds County is that they're going to get their items are going to get added to the records that already exist in Evergreen, and there's a team that is helping them for that that's how they're going to make their transition. What's going to happen to the stuff that isn't in Evergreen, I think, is going to be a later day decision. But hopefully most of what's in their collection should be able to be tapped onto items that we already have. I believe the cataloging folks are working with them for that transition. Okay, so I will put the text of the notes of the Webster County situation in the minutes as well too. It just basically that they have the two locations with separate labels to make sure that they get routed to the right folks so they don't have to resort them and do all that magic when they get to them. And we don't have a meeting in December. Yay, holidays. Woohoo. So our next meeting is scheduled for January 25th at 11. If anything comes up in between now and then, of course, do not hesitate to reach out on the list or reach out to me. We'll get that damaged working group going in December and get that rolling. And we'll have, I think this might be our shortest meeting ever of 10 minutes.
I do want to point out something that I think it was Darcy at Carthage asked about holds being placed while their library was closed and their item is targeted, but then the 24 hours elapses before they capture the hold. So the hold bounces out of their building to someplace else. So the patron is going to have to wait longer to get it. You following me on that? because here I'm sitting at the New Haven branch, I've seen it. The item gets placed on hold on Saturday, and the New Haven copy is targeted, but we're closed on Sunday, so it bounces away from us over the weekend to another library. So now the patron's gonna have to wait longer. Although the patron can always see in the catalog the item is available at New Haven and walk into the building and pick it up on Monday and not have to wait for it to come from someplace far away. So I asked Equinox about that, and they said, yes, indeed, that is exactly what will happen. But we're in 3.6 now, I think 3.8. There's going to be a new feature added that's called stalling, hold stalling. There's hold stalling and holds hard stalling. I'm not exactly sure what the difference is. However, it would allow you to stall holds that are targeting items that are going to be picked up at your branch. So I could put a hard stall on New Haven pickups that would hold it over weekends and holidays. So I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work, but that's something we can look forward to in 3.8, which is a little ways down the road, but it will help that issue.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm gonna put the gist in the notes, but I will run the text by you before I put it out in the world to make sure I captured what it was adequately.
Well, and that's another thing that we've got this proximity settings subcommittee, but we're kind of stalled. Speaking of stalled, we're kind of stalled out there too because of courier issues. If we were trying to find out which libraries maybe need to do their pull list more often, we can't even get that data because there's someone that's their courier just quit. And so now there's a big backup there.
Pam had a thing in chat.
We found a way to work around that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'll look into the info after the meeting. That would be great.
Marion County Library.
Because if we don't target, we turn on the, don't target us when we're closed.
Today and
We're
tomorrow.
not to get targeted.
We'll
when
be closed the
we're
rest of the week after that because it's
closed,
Thanksgiving.
but I
But you want me to leave her a message, or would you need something I can help you
there's
with?
things all around anyway. Anyway, so we'll see what Pam has to say, if she's got a workaround for that.
Yeah, definitely. Conveniently, we're in the same system, so I can get it from her for the minutes.
Yeah.
Phone dies all the time. I was literally talking to her and then it just died. I was like, where'd she go? So I'll answer that here now.
And whoever answered their phone, we can hear you too. Okay, yeah, that's great information. So did anybody have anything further? So now my internet connection is unstable, so I probably should end the meeting. Okay, thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving and holiday season. And if anything pops up, don't hesitate to reach out and I'll get these minutes and recording out in a hopefully timely fashion. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Meredith.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, Meredith.